Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Life Paranormal Podcast. I'm your host, Russell Reynolds, and we're here on a Sunday night. We were at a Paracon Saturday, so we didn't do a show last night. So I hope you guys enjoyed the replay from last week if you missed it. Um, so I decided to jump on tonight, and before we get into the show, we're going to talk about the next Paracon coming up that we're going to be at is the Rock Island Roadhouse Historic Expo. We will be there this coming Saturday. Everything starts on Friday night. If you got tickets, you can sit around the campfire, listen to stories about spirit squatches and CE5, which is they deal with alien encounters and UFOs. And I know Squatch Man will be at that campfire talking about his Sasquatch experiences. We will also be there. We'll be down in the basement with our family. Come talk to us about our relation to the Warrens, residential cases. We'll have the equipment out on the table so you can look at. So if you have any questions and curious what to buy, if you're getting new into the paranormal, there will be equipment builders there. I know Bill Bryan from Empty Casket Paranormal. He's an equipment builder. He'll be downstairs with us. So, um, and Annabelle will be there. So make sure you get your tickets if you want to see Annabelle and some of the Warren's Occult Museum contents. This one and Scarefest in Kentucky is the last for Annabelle. After this year, Annabelle will not be going out on the road anymore. So this is your last chance to see Annabelle and some of the Warren's Occult Museum artifacts. So be sure to get your tickets to check them out, and we will see you next Saturday at Rock Island Paracon. I know doors open up, I believe, at 7:30 in the morning. So we'll come through. There's a lot of people going to be there between the 28 Days Haunted people. A lot of our friends, family are all going to be there. Paranormal investigators, UFO researchers, cryptid researchers. So be sure to come on out and check that out. And before we get going on our topic tonight, talk to you guys a little bit about Bordertown Paracon that we were at yesterday. We got there Friday. They threw us a party and food. Met a lot of good people. Made a lot of new friends. And we'll give a few of them shout outs. Spooky Brothers 316, pretty cool dude. We got to meet him and Jason Clark and C&D Paranormal. They were right next to us. Pretty bunch of cool people. Monstrous. Um, and quite a few other people. We actually found a family member that is was there that is actually related to us, and we didn't know it until we started talking genealogy and stuff. And so yeah, it was a good time. We had a lot of pictures taken with us. Got to educate some people on some equipment. Got to meet Red Dirt cryptids from Oklahoma. Big cryptid researchers. They're into Bigfoot and Dogman, and they had a big map there of all the sightings in Oklahoma. They also had Bigfoot castings as well. So it was pretty cool to talk to them. They were interested in some of the paranormal equipment we got because they want to try and incorporate it into their cryptid research. Because the theory of Bigfoot is being also part of paranormal. Um, so our next event we're going to be at is Marshall Cinema Haunted House in Marshall, Missouri, October 16th and 17th. So come on out, support the Marshall Cinema family and the staff. They don't charge to get into the haunted house, but you're welcome to give them a donation. Um, Also, come get some popcorn. They got some awesome popcorn down there. Um, and then come get scared by all of us. I will be in the haunted house again this year playing a character. I'm not telling anybody which character. So you guys will have to figure that one out when you if you come down. And it's a good turnout every year. They'll get well over 2,500 people walking through the door the first night. I know they did last year, and then last year the second night they had almost 2,000 come through the door then as well. Um, so and then after that we will be at Holiday Magic and Paranormal and Crafts Bazaar. That will be in Sandusky, Ohio. Um, my dad and I will be out there. We're guest speaking at that one. So come on out, show support, listen to us. I know they're planning a paranormal investigation afterwards. So make sure you reach out, get your tickets for that. We are leading the paranormal investigation. So after the Paracon that night. So make sure you get your tickets to come out for that. So, and that'll sum us up for the year. If anybody is interested in volunteering at Rock Island Paracon, reach out to Sarah from Get Haunted and Candy Slater. I believe they're still looking for volunteers. And from what I was saw in the live last night in our vendors page, there is 1,100 tickets have been sold. So, and I know the overnight paranormal investigation of the Rock Island Roadhouse has been sold out. Patty Negri's seance has been sold out already. There's a couple workshops that were already sold out. So, without further ado, we're gonna get into the show here. If you've seen the previews, we're gonna be talking about several different things tonight. Our first one we're gonna be talking about is it is the Derider roadkill. It is native to Louisiana. The story of that begins in 1996. A woman named Barbara Mullins was driving down a hot and dusty asphalt Louisiana highway called Highway 12. Eventually, she thought she saw some strange creature dead on the side of the road. It was very, very curious, and she was luckily equipped with a camera, so she decided to pull over. What she found has changed the face of cryptozoology forever. She described the carcass as being the size of an adult St. Bernard and covered in thick brown fur, which was unusual for the climate. But its most unusual and most uncanine like feature of all were its ape like feet extending from its bulky body. It boasted small, pointed ears, too. She thought at first the carcass was merely a deceased dog until she noticed the simian like appearance. On September 5th of the same year, a De Quincy News published the report of this bizarre and unidentifiable fauna. They noted that it could be the blood sucking chupacabra or even a very vicious devil monkey, which is more plausible. The Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries examined the photos and decided it was only the toy breed of dog known as the Pomeranian. The problem with this conclusion is that the creature was the size of an adult St. Bernard, which averages at 264 pounds and 27.5 inches tall. Meanwhile, Pomeranians are only 7.7 pounds and are 11 inches tall. This conclusion doesn't explain the odd ape feet either. In 2000, a boy named Roy Young started investigating the images. He did intense research and concluded that the animal seen in those photos was a loup-garou, which was a rougarou, the Cajun werewolf. Legends of the loup-garou go back centuries and are associated with the skunk ape and the Honey Island swamp monster, other cryptids of the southern region. He claimed that he even obtained some skeletal remains of the beast from an anonymous man in the Lake Charles area, but the bone fragments were not authentic as they had a dermal ridge, which is in common with canines. These exciting remains were said to have been a hoax or to have been simply randomly found by the man. The last extensive research ever done of this carcass was made 14 years ago. Nothing else has aroused from the dry lands of Louisiana, but people still believe this report is genuine and that the source of the rotting corpse in the image is still out there lurking, waiting to be discovered. If this creature is found, it would be the biggest zoological find in the 21st century and would be the first species of primate native to the United States. But for now, we just have to wait or dream, or why not even attempt to find it. So that's a little interesting creature. Hey, Joe, welcome in. I mean, how could you call that a Pomeranian? I mean, I've seen Pomeranians and they got them little round hook tails, and it's got to be some sort of Bigfoot creature or something. Something out of the cryptids. It could be something paranormal. Who knows? I mean, chupacabras, they're known as shapeshifters, so it may be another version of that, like they were saying. Um, but it's hard to say what it could actually be. I mean, you look at its feet with that ape-looking feet. So, and I mean, even a regular monkey isn't. I mean, if them smaller ones ain't gonna have feet like that. I mean, they're real small. So, and I mean, that's not even this. If they say it's the size of a Saint Bernard, that's huge. Um, so you guys got any takes on it? Feel free to post them up in the chat before we move on to our next one. So, but yeah, that's a little crazy that cryptid, but there has been no sightings after those taken. So, I mean, can you determine if that's a hoax or if it's true or not? Or it's just like a urban legend that someone made a story up about it and they just ran with it and now it's implanted in people's minds. So, all right, we're going to move on to our next one. This one's called Gator Man. He isn't considered another cryptid. Um, he's like a reptilian humanoid. The first sightings of him started back in 1973, and then the last sighting of it was in 1977. And it's native to the United States. The habitat is New Jersey and New York. So that should tell you a little bit about something. And I mean, New York does have country. New Jersey's got a little bit of country, but I mean, most of that is suburbs and everything like that. But what it says is not much is known about the elusive New Jersey Gator Man. We do know that during the summer of 1973, the residents of the New Jersey, Newton, Lafayette area were plagued by what eyewitnesses described as a large humanoid alligator. The folklore, a local journalist who covered the story compared the creature to an enduring Native American legend about a giant man sized fish that could never be caught. Perhaps what makes the New Jersey Gator Man stand out to the most amongst the other lizard men is the fact that its existence was publicly acknowledged by a state employee. Young men from the tribe Kinyanagara in Papua New Guinea make crocodile armor in their body by a ritual where they get scars that look like crocodile's armor. However, this is probably just a coincidence. Statement came in 1977 when the New York City conservation naturalist Alfred Hullstruck reported that the state's southern tier was the apparent home of a scaled man-like creature which appears at dusk from the red algae-infested waters to forage among the fern and the most covered uplands. Although this is the only official comment in relation to the New Jersey Gator Man, simple fact that a city public official publicly acknowledged the creature's existence says something for its credibility. And sightings, no physical evidence of the New Jersey Gator Man has ever been brought to light. However, eyewitnesses report and public acknowledgement from the city official vote well for the existence of this creature during the summer of 1973. Multiple people saw a humanoid alligator, and they say that the explanations the gator man could have been an unknown species of large alligator, or perhaps an evolved crocodilian such as Nuda ascasuus or Chrysochophmus ratatillini, something like that is how they pronounce it, I guess. It could also be a sighting of a Ceraron, and that's the little known fact about them. Um, Now, Gator Man, maybe it could be an elemental. I mean, if it is a lizard, I mean, there's things called draconian star seeds, which are elementals that are reptilian. So maybe this is kind of like an elemental or something, and that's why it's not being seen anymore. So elementals, I mean, they're not around all the time. I mean, like the draconians, they're brought out to do good or harm when you summon them. So, I mean, what could say this is not an elemental of some sort? It may not even be a cryptid. It may be something supernatural. I mean, an alligator living in New Jersey, I mean, they did have reports of sewer alligators in the cities living in the city sewers back years ago. So, but I mean, this is walking on two legs and looks like a man figure. I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical on this one. What do you all think? I mean, I don't think, and there's no sightings anymore of it. So, could it be a trans-dimensional being, elemental that's connected to the earth, or could it be just another story that someone had made up to implant fear into somebody's mind? It's hard to say with that one. Um, but so if anybody's got any questions or thoughts, feel free to post them up in the chat here, and I'll answer them before I move on to our next one. Um, the next one is kind of an interesting one. Um, as you see in the picture here, them strange lights that you see, like light balls. Which I have another picture here. Someone captured a picture of one going across the lake. Um, they're known as the Wander Light. Um, They are atmospheric ghost lights seen by travelers at night, often in the swamps, but some report also speaking of the wandering light sightings in graveyards. Now, like Gettysburg, for example, along the wood line, they see them type of lights going along the wood line that they interpret are lanterns of the Civil War soldiers' spirits walking through. So that's another good example of the wandering lights. Um, so we'll dive into this. The only high resolution picture of the Wanderer light is taken from the coast of the Finnish island of Anakasari. Wander lights are atmospheric ghost lights seen by travelers at night, often in swamps, but some report also speaking of wander light sightings in graveyards. Um, the wander light background is the type of spirit, first sighting unknown, last sighting is unknown. Country is global. The habitat is everywhere. Possible pollution high. It looks like a low hovering orb of light. It is known to recede when approached, leading the travelers away from safe paths. There are many other names for the wanderer lights, including ignis fatuus, medieval Latin for foolish fire, willow the wisp, hinky punk, and many more. Etymology: the term of wanderlight comes from the Dutch word "dwaasje and which is dwal, meaning wander, and lich means light. The term willow the wisp comes from the wisp, a bundle of sticks or paper sometimes used as a torch, and the name will, thus will of the torch. The term jack-o'-lantern, jack of the lantern, has a similar meaning. In the United States, they are often called spook lights, where we've got, here in Missouri, we've got the Joplin spook light that appears in the sky. Um, Ghost lights or orbs by folklorists and paranormal enthusiasts. Folk believe attributes to the phenomenon to fairies or elemental spirits, explicitly in the term hobby lanterns. Found in the 19th century, Denham Tracts. Briggs, a dictionary of fairies, provided an extensive list of other names for the same phenomenon, though the place where they are observed, graveyards, bogs, etc., influences the naming considerably. When observed in graveyards, they are known as ghost candles, also a term for the Denham tracts. The names Willow the Wisp and Jack-o'-lanterns are explained in etymological folk tales, recorded in many variants forms in Ireland, Scotland, England, Wales, Appalachia, Newfoundland. In those tales, protagonists named either Will or Jack are doomed to haunt the marshes with the light for some misdeed. Wispy, the artist depiction of the Wanderlight, one version of the Jarvis fire re-encountered by K.M. Briggs in her book A Dictionary of Fairies, refers to Will the Smith. Will is the wicked smith who is given a second chance by St. Peter at the gates of heaven, but leads such a bad life that he ends up being doomed to wander the earth. The devil provides him with a single burning coal with which to warm himself, which he then uses to lure foolish travelers into the marshes. An Irish version of the tale has a ne'er do well named Drunk Jack or Stingy Jack who makes a deal with the devil, offering up his soul in exchange for payment of his pub tab. When the devil comes to collect his due, Jack tricks him by making him climb a tree and then carving a cross underneath, preventing him from climbing down. In exchange for removing the cross, the devil forgives Jack's debt. However, because no one as bad as Jack would ever be allowed into heaven, Jack is forced upon his death to travel to hell and ask for a place there. The devil denies him entrance in revenge, but as a boon grants Jack an ember from the fires of hell to light his way through the twilight world to which lost souls are forever condemned. Jack places it in a carved turnip to serve as a lantern. Another version of the tale, Willie the Wisp, is related in Irish folk tales by Henry Glassy, the first modern novel in the Irish language. Sedina by Edward Ua Langhauer is a version of the tale. Another folklore in Europe, they call it the flying jellyfish. Could it be a glowing atmospheric jellyfish? In European folklore, these lights are said to have either mischievous spirits or the dead, or other supernatural beings or spirits such as fairies attempting to lead travelers astray. In North America, a modern Americanized adaptation of this Travelers Association frequently places swaying ghost lights along roadsides and railroad tracks. Here, a swaying movement of the lights is alleged to be that of 19th and early 20th century railway workers supposedly killed on the job. Swampy area of Massachusetts known as the Bridgewater Triangle has folklore of ghostly orbs of light, and there have been modern observations of these ghost lights in this area as well. Sometimes the lights are believed to be the spirits of unbaptized or stillborn children flitting between heaven and hell. Modern occultist elaborations bracket them with the salamander, a type of spirit wholly independent from humans, unlike ghosts, which are presumed to have been humans at some point in the past. Aristotle, in his History of Animals, states that the salamander is similar to the elemental spirit of fire and that it stays in fire without getting burnt. According to the Carcelis, the salamander is the elemental spirit of fire itself. The folklore in Asia, Alea, or a marsh ghost light, is the name given to the unexplained strange light phenomena occurring over the marshes as observed by the Bengali people, especially the fishermen of Bengal. These marsh lights are attributed to some kind of unexplained marsh gas, apparitions that confuse fishermen, make them lose their bearings, and may even lead to drowning if one decided to follow them moving over the marshes. Local communities in the region believe that these strange hovering marsh lights are in fact ghost lights, representing ghosts of fishermen who died fishing. Sometimes they confuse the fishermen, and sometimes they help them avoid future dangers. The Chirbati ghost light, also spelled Chhirbatti or Chirbati, is yet unexplained strange dancing light phenomenon occurring on dark nights reported from the Bani grasslands. Their seasonal marshy wetlands and the adjoining desert and marshy salt flats of the Rann of Kutch near the Indo-Pakistani border and Kutch district, Gujarat state, India. Local villagers have been seeing these sometimes hovering, sometimes flying ball of light since time immemorial. Call it the Chirbate in their Kuchi Sendai language, with their Chur meaning ghosts and Bate meaning light. Similar phenomenon are described in Japanese folklore, including Hitodima, literally human soul, as a ball of energy, Hainotama, ball of flame, Obukaji, Kamaboi, Ushinabi, etc. All these phenomena are described as balls of flame or light, at times associated with graveyards, but occurring across Japan as a whole in a wide variety of situations and locations. These phenomena are described as Shigeru Mitsugushi 1985 book, Graphic World of Japanese Phantoms. Central and South America, the Botata Portuguese pronunciation Bohatitata is a Brazilian equivalent of the Wanderlight. Regionally, it's called the Boitata, Boitata, Batata, and several others. The name comes from Old Tupi language and means fiery serpent. Its great fiery eyes leave it almost blind by day, but by night it can see everything. According to the legend, Boitata was a big serpent who survived a great deluge. A Boichu, a cave anaconda, left its cave after the deluge and in the dark went through the fields preying on animals and corpses, eating exclusively its favorite morsel, the eyes. The collected light from the eaten eyes gave the Botata its fiery gaze, not only a dragon but a giant snake in the native language, boa or maboy or maboa. In Argentina, the wandering light phenomenon is known as luz mala, evil light, or fuego fatal, and is one of the most important myths in Argentine and Uruguayan folklore. The phenomenon is quite feared and is mostly seen in Argentine rural areas. It consists of an extremely shiny ball of light floating a few inches from the ground. Mexico has its own equivalent as well. Folklore explains wander lights to be witches who transformed into these lights. The reason is for this, however, varies according to the region. Australia, Min Min light is the name given to the usual light formation that has been reported numerous times in eastern outback Australia. The lights have been reported from far south of Bermuda and western South New Wales to the far north of Bola in northern Queensland. The majority of the sightings are reported to have occurred in the Channel Country. The Min Min light stories about the lights can be found in Aboriginal myth predating Western settlement of the region and have since become part of the wider Australian folklore. Indigenous Australians hold the number of sightings that has increased alongside the increasing aggression ingression of the Europeans into the region. According to the folklore, the lights sometimes followed or approached people and have disappeared when fired upon, only to reappear later on. So that's kind of a little interesting on it. Hey Sandy, welcome in. Hey Carol, welcome in. So that's pretty much what I got on that. I mean, like I was saying, like Gettysburg, they see these lights like crazy walking along the edge of the wood lines that they interpret as the spirits of the Civil War soldiers that were killed on the battlefield, and they would see these balls of light just dancing around those woods. So it may be one of these, the spook lights. I mean, like I said, we got one here in Joplin, Missouri called the Joplin Spook Light. You go down the road on this back road at night and you see this big ball of light that appears and it comes up in the sky and it looks as big as a full moon, but they've had scientists out there checking it out. They've had NASA, the military, Air Force. Nobody can figure out what this is, this Joplin spook light, and it just appears. And if you go on YouTube, there is a lot of videos of the Joplin spook light out there. Um, So, and I mean, they're saying these could be elementals as well. I mean, that's a good possibility too. That's elemental energy. Um, I mean, that's like those big balls of light that you see and you hear a snap with them. So, but I mean, they capture these floating across the lake, the swamps, and swamps in Louisiana and the Everglades in Florida and all that. They got a lot of strange stuff that goes on through there. Even the swamps in Arkansas down through there as well. I mean, a lot of your cryptids. There's a lot of because of voodoo practitioners down through there would go out in the swamps and practice their darker voodoo and hoodoo stuff down there. Um, so I mean, I know like Mary Laveau, the Queen of Voodoo, she would practice down there in the swamps of Louisiana, back in the backwoods back there. We had a guy when we were at the Jesse James farmhouse. He was telling us he was from Louisiana and he was working the pipelines through Missouri here, and he was telling us about a part back in the swamps. You don't go back in because, hey Kim, welcome in. You don't go back in the swamps back there because of the voodoo priestess, and they've got symbols hanging up like you do not go into this area because that is where they practice their voodoo and hoodoo stuff, and they do rituals back there. Um, so little recap for everyone that just joined us. We were talking about this one's called the Deer Ritter Roadkill, which is another form of cryptid, kind of like a big another form of Bigfoot. It's about the size of a Saint Bernard, and which a Saint Bernard averages about 264 pounds, and they stand about 27.5 inches tall. And this has got monkey feet, um, and it's got a canine, kind of like a canine face, and they think it might be chupacabra, another form of chupacabra. And then the next one we talked about was Gator Man, which Carol, you may be familiar with this one from since you're from New Jersey, and this was spotted in 1973 in New Jersey. Um, he stands he stands upright just like a humanoid. He's a reptilian though, but he's got scales and a gator face, and they called him the New Jersey Gator Man, and he was spotted in the summer of 1973 in the Newton Lafayette area of New Jersey. Yeah, it's supposed to resemble like roadkill. It'll lay on the side of the road there and play like it's dead to lure you out. But nobody's ever been attacked by it. But the chupacabra, you hear reports on the chupacabra all the time in Louisiana, and they're known as shapeshifters, and they're known to kill people. The chupacabra does and attack people. They're saying this is like a form of chupacabra because it's spotted in Louisiana, just like the chupacabra is. And she spotted it on a back road and into the swamps. So, and it would lay on the road and resemble roadkill. And this is an actual picture that she took of it. I was able to find on it. And, but I mean, well, that's like now we're getting reports now that are coming out. Quite a bit of reports of dogmen coming out now. At that Paracon we were at yesterday, they had red dirt cryptids there from Oklahoma, and they were telling me that there's been a lot of dogmen sightings in Oklahoma quite a bit. and we're starting to get them here in Missouri. Starting to no, they didn't take any closer pictures of it. I'm thinking the reason why they didn't, I think they were kind of nervous of it, so they didn't bother to take any closer pictures of it. Um, which I don't know why they didn't. I'll see if I can find a different picture of it for you. But yeah, that's what I think. I think they were scared to get close to it. I'll see if I can find some images of it for you. Oh, you're actually in luck. I was able to find a picture of it that looks a little closer of it. Let's see if I can. Right, and I mean, some say it is a hoax. Is because there has been no more sightings of it. Yeah, they say they haven't spotted it in a long time, so that kind of makes you wonder too. There's a closer image of it. Now, I mean, what's not saying that's not even maybe a matted dog, a dog that got loose and was living out in the wild somewhere, dude? Because I mean, like that, looking like that, it looks like it's got dog paws right there, and it looks like it's got matted fur, like a dog would get matted. That's why I'm wondering. Even the face of it looks like a canine. So I'm wondering if I was able just to see if I can find a face of one that they actually show a face of it. I found a drawing of one, and they say it's a. They recreated a drawing of it, but there's so many different pictures of it. Like there's one guy that posted a picture of a baby calf and called it that too as well. Yeah, up close it does. It looks more like a dog. And I mean, I've seen coyotes get that big. What if it's like a different breed of coyote that mated with like a wolf or something like that? But I know they spot it in Louisiana, and I don't think there is wolves down in Louisiana. But they say that it might be the Rougarou, which is a Cajun werewolf. So I mean that it's hard to actually say what it really is. So is it maybe a little dog man, or so it's hard to say what it could be. Yeah, I mean this picture was taken back in 19, let's see. This would have been the first sighting of it in 1996. So you figure 96, we didn't have the digital age yet. We were still getting into the digital age for digital cameras. So other people say it might have been a devil monkey, which would be interesting. Now I found a picture of a devil monkey. We'll see what that. I'll show you guys that. But yeah, back in '96, we, they didn't have any of them good cameras quality that we do now. Now this is a devil monkey. Now, I mean, that looks similar to what you're seeing laying there on the road. So that's what I'm wondering if it is a devil monkey. I mean, they say it might be a chupacabra, but chupacabra, from what I'm seeing on pictures, don't look like that. A chupacabra looks more cat like, cat dog mix type thing. And so it's hard to say what that could be. The devil monkey looks like the fairies we had in our house. They stood about 2 feet tall. Yeah, and I mean they said this stands like a Saint Bernard. So if it's standing like a Saint Bernard, they're huge, and that's over two. They get over 200 pounds. Now here's what a rogaroo looks like. There's a rogaroo, which is a wolfman type creature. Hey, Reason, welcome in. Fairies stood on 2 feet just like humans. Yeah, which fairies are more like elemental. That would be what they're saying these things are like elementals. And they're like balls of light, which these are all spirit energy, spirit balls. Spook lights is what we call them in the United States, which we think they're form elementals. Like we got the like I was saying earlier, we get the Joplin spook light. But it's amazing how all these are all connected. Even Bigfoot connected into our paranormal research aspect of it as well. Oh, hey, Reason, you're just tuning in. We were talking about few different few different cryptids tonight. We don't have a guest tonight because we just got back from Paracon last night. So um, we're talking about the Deer Ritter Roadkill, the New Jersey Gator Man, and the Wanderlight is what we're talking about tonight. Um, to recap, this would be your Deer Roadkill, which is found in Louisiana, which is another. They're saying it's another form of like cryptid. Uh, Maybe the chupacabra, the rogaroo. To me, it looks like a matted dog right there, a matted dead dog that got away from a house or something, and a lady had taken this picture in '96 when she saw it on the road in Louisiana, back road, laying on the road, and it plays dead. It's um, which others suspect it's a devil monkey, which that's a devil monkey, um, or the infamous Rogaroo. And then the next one we talked about was Gator Man from New Jersey, which the last sighting of him happened in 1973, and there hasn't been no sighting since. Some say it was a hoax. Some call it a cryptid. And I mean, what's not saying it may not be an elemental? I mean, like your draconians are elementals. So what's saying it wasn't one of them, or maybe it's a hoax that somebody just created the story and ran with it, and other people believed it, put that psychological implant in somebody's mind, and then they run with that story, sort of like Slender Man as well. And when you project that energy, then it becomes real. So, and then the next one is the wandering lights, like Missouri's Joplin Spook Light, the wandering lights you see in Gettysburg battlefields at night along the edge of the woods. We've got them here in Missouri along the battlefields, which they say are the soldiers. Elementals are they're connected to the earth. They're not like a cryptid that are supernatural. They're more connected to the earth, and they're just kind of like the spirit from the earth. They're older than God. They were here before God, and there's all different types of elementals. We'll do another show on just elementals. We dealt with a draconian star seed, which is a reptilian elemental. They're brought in to do good or harm. Well, in that case that we did, it was brought in to do harm to his to the lady's girl's stepmom because she didn't like her. So, but they are kind of they're a little interesting. I mean, they're not here to hurt you unless you make them. But there's all different kinds of elementals out there. That's all right, Carol. Um, but that's the difference between them. I mean, yeah, cryptids are more like ape-like creatures. Maybe more. They're saying like more paranormal-ish type of thing is what the elementals are. Elementals are more just down to the earth, and they're more spirits of the earth than what your Bigfoots are. Your Bigfoots are supposed to be humanoids. These elementals, they don't show up as humanoids. They'll show up as like lizard creatures. I'll find a picture of a draconian starseed. But the draconians, they're like I said, they're not here to harm. And I mean, and that's like Bigfoot. I mean, I think Bigfoot's more like they just want to scare you out type of thing. That's why they throw things at you. This is a draconian starseed. You see, similar to the human, got kind of like the human eyes. They're elemental, and they can come out, like I said, to do harm or do good. Is what I've done in history research, and this was the first time I've ever dealt with one of these on a case. Yeah, lizard people. Yep, yep. Some people that's another name for them as well, lizard people. And but that's what they call them, and I mean, there's all different types of elementals. There's a lot of them out there. There's the fairy elementals, like I think my one viewer was saying. Kim, she was talking about them. Yeah, Carol's got an elemental in her backyard. It looks like it's wearing a hat. Yeah, they do. They give them extra different names to them all. I mean, like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and then Sasquatch, Boggy Creek Monster. You've got Honey Island Swamp Monster, the Momo Monster. So the which Momos are Missouri Bigfoot, um, which is supposed to be another one of the aggressive Bigfoots, but they're not. They're not as tall as your traditional. Yeah, Mothman. They consider Mothman like a cryptid also. Oh, that's cool, Carol. But yeah, Mothman is another form of cryptid. I did a now that you found my channel, if you scroll back through some of the episodes on my YouTube channel, I did a whole episode on Mothman. Mothman and New Jersey Devil, and I'm trying to remember which one it was, if it's New Jersey Devil or Mothman, always shows up when something's gonna happen. Like they spotted him when the World Trade Center, the planes went through the World Trade Center. He was spotted flying around the smoke. They spotted it in Germany as well when something was about to go down. So they don't know if he's like Mothman's like a messenger or some sort when something bad's gonna happen or. Oh, nice. Yeah, on 9/11, they said they spotted it flying around the smoke of the World Trade Center, and they spotted it in Germany as well, flying around when there was a big disaster that was going to happen there, and they spotted it. And but what really gets me is these little light balls. These are fascinating. I mean, I've seen some fly over the water. Reason? No, it don't scare me. I mean, I've done this for 31 years, investigated the paranormal. I've done everything from dealt with the demonic now to elementals, and so it doesn't scare me anymore. I mean, I do a lot of residential cases. I've done over 160 residential cases. Um, and then since you're new, I've got ties to the Warrens. They're my cousins, Ed and Lorraine Warren. So John Zaffis. So it's kind of in my DNA and my bloodline. So, but no, it doesn't freak me out anymore. I mean, you still get that jump scare, but that's your natural body reaction when it comes out like that. When one of the paint spots recently erupted in Yellowstone National Park, I saw what it looked like a dark castle coming out of the smoke cloud. Yeah, it's amazing what comes you see come out of smoke. Uh, you can on my Facebook. You can send stars through my Facebook at Beyond Life Paranormal Research Missouri. I'm not monetized yet on YouTube. My channel's still growing on YouTube yet because before this I was with a network and now I'm out on my own. So now I'm growing my channel out. But on my Facebook page, Beyond Life Paranormal Research Missouri, Cold Spotters Missouri, we're live on there now too. You can subscribe and send stars on there as well. And we don't ask for donations or anything like that. That's totally up to you guys if you want to send them. We just love educating and doing what we do and helping people and teaching people our trade, and there's not many of us out there now that are into doing that anymore. We're pretty much a dying breed, pretty much us old school paranormal guys. But I did notice some of it starting to come back now, and I'm happy to see that. But especially some of the people that I met over the weekend here at that border town Paracon. Um, there was a lot of them. There was quite a few that did residential cases, and I was happy to hear that they don't charge people and they're still out there helping people. So, and that's what we're in it for too. I think you have to have like over certain amount of followers on YouTube to even be able to do super chats and donate. Right now I'm up to 170 subscribers, so but I do a podcast. Usually I'm not on Sunday nights. I'm usually on Saturday nights, but we're booked for these next 2 Saturday. This Saturday we're coming up. We're booked, and this past Saturday we were booked, and the Saturday before that we were on an investigation trying to solve a debate. Hey, Granzer, welcome in. We were talking about let me pull it up. This creature here, which is the the Ritter roadkill, which was is spotted in Louisiana. It's another form of cryptid that they think maybe got ape-like feet, and they're thinking it might be another form of chupacabra. Okay, will do. I do have a Patreon, but I haven't worked on it yet to set it up, so I will get that set up, post links and stuff. I appreciate that. So if you have a Patreon, then people may donate to you. You can either side that YouTube that way, I think. Okay. Yeah, I started setting one up. I just got to finish it. I do have PayPal as well too. So uh, I'll get you the link of it. But the other one we were talking about, Granzer, was besides the deer, that one, the Gator Man of New Jersey. Um, yeah, watch hours and subs. Yep. My PayPal is BLPRMO is what my PayPal is, and I will post that in the chat as well. That is my PayPal. Um, and then the other one, Granzer, we were talking about is the Wanderer Light, which is also known as Spook Light here in the United States, like we had the one in Joplin. Um, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. The Gator Man, the only spotting one person spotted it in 1973, and that was the last it was seen in New Jersey. Nobody's ever spotted it again. So I'm saying this one might be a hoax, just a story someone had made up to put fear in people, and um, these guys haven't been spotted anymore either since '96. That's when this picture was taken. So but yeah, I just wanted to support good work. Sorry to sidetrack. That's all right. Um, but yeah, I got to meet some cryptid guys yesterday. Red Dirt Cryptid. So if you got a chance, follow those guys. Those guys had some castings like yesterday on their table of Bigfoot. Heard of Gator Man, but didn't know about New Jersey. I heard of the one they said was in Louisiana. I think a couple of sightings, but the real one, big one, was when someone claimed it. Yeah, and this one was in New Jersey that I found. No, they. I guess these things play dead on the side of the road to lure people, and then they attack because they say they're like the chupacabra or the rougarou that's known in Louisiana. But yeah, the Gator Man. the last sighting of the Gator Man happened in 1977, and it was in Newton Lafayette area of New Jersey, and it dates back to Native American legend as well of a giant man-sized fish that can never be caught. And New Guinea also, they make crocodile armor, so and they get scars that look like crocodile armor. But they say possibly that could be the coincidence. But no physical evidence of the New Jersey gator has ever been brought to light. However, reports and a public acknowledgement from the city official vote well for the existence of the creature during the summer of '73. I guess multiple people saw a humanoid alligator walking up on two legs. Uh, from what I read here, Barbara Mullins, she was driving down a hot and dusty asphalt Louisiana highway called Highway 12. Eventually, she thought she saw some strange creature dead on the side of the road. It was very curious, and she was luckily equipped with a camera, so she decided to pull over. What she found has changed the face of cryptozoology forever. She described the carcass as being the size of an adult St. Bernard and covered in thick brown hair, which was unusual for the climate, but it's most unusual, the most uncanine like feature of all were its ape like feet extending from its bulky body. Boasted small pointed ears, too. She thought at first the carcass was merely a deceased dog until she noticed the feminine like appearance. And the fish and game, the wildlife fisheries of Louisiana, they decided it was only the toy breed of dog known as the Pomeranian. They're trying to say that thing is a Pomeranian. There was a guy that Roy Young that started investigating the images, and he did intense research and concluded that the animal seen in those photos was the loup garou, which is the rougarou, the Cajun werewolf. Legends of the loup garou go back to centuries and are associated with the skunk ape and Honey Island swamp monster. So, and he claimed that he even obtained some skeletal remains of the beast from the anonymous man in the Lake Charles area, but the bone fragments were not authentic as they were dermal ridge, which in common in canines. These exciting remains were said to be have been a hoax, or have been simply randomly found by the man. So they said that it was a hoax. The Grunch Road monster is an alleged chupacabra sighting in New Orleans. Yeah, I've heard of that. Also, I may have suggested him in the post. Lon Strickler of Phantom and Monsters YouTube. He's a really good course and guest and has been investigating for decades. Yeah, definitely. I'd definitely like to get him on. Yeah, there's no way that's a Pomeranian. That looks too big for a Pomeranian. And so it can't be a Pomeranian. I mean, I've seen Pomeranians. Them things are small and light, and they don't have that much hair. Lon Strickler, one of the OGs in the field. Another guy, but can't recall. I wish I wrote it down. And Fernando, aka William DeFalco, but he don't do interviews. Yeah, I mean, yeah, The chow is a good example too. Yeah, with all that how furry they are. Even a Newfoundland Newfie dog. The Newfoundland dogs, they're big and furry like that too as well. But they're saying this has got 8 feet. But if you look in that picture, it looks more like canine feet, canine paws is what it looks like. And then others say it's this, the devil monkey, which it's hard to say. Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like. It looks like it's got just 2 front legs, like it walks on two. Yeah, the devil monkey, I agree, is too thick, and which is it is strange. I mean, and then there has been no more sightings of it, but there's still sightings of. They still have sightings of chupacabra and the rogaroo, but who knows? Maybe this is a yeah, it may be a new cryptid. Um, maybe it's another version of Dogman, which, like I was saying earlier, there's been a lot of reports coming out now of dogmen being spotted. The guys I met yesterday, they were telling me in Oklahoma, there's been a lot of dogman sightings down there, and Missouri's just starting to get their sightings too. My buddy Carter Bouchard, who's a cryptid researcher, he's getting a lot of reports as well from about dogmen, and but I mean, they say that the first spotting was in of this was in 1996. The news the same year reported that it could be the blood-sucking chupacabra, or even the ferocious devil monkey, which is more plausible, is what the news reported as it. But the last extensive research ever done on this carcass was made 14 years ago. Nothing else has aroused from the dry lands of Louisiana, but people still believe this report is genuine and that the source of the rotting corpse in the images is still out there lurking, waiting to be discovered. If this creature is found, it would be the biggest zoological find in the 21st century. And it says, but for now, we just have to wait or dream, or why not even attempt to find it? I mean, I'd be willing to go look for it and check it out. I think we get too locked in the existing mainstream cryptids. If these things are transdimensional, there may be an infinite amount of variations. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Carter was telling me he spotted a Bigfoot on thermal that was walking upright, 2 legs, humanoid, and as it was going, it started shrinking, and then it shrunk to an orb, and then just disappeared. So, and it's like I was talking to the Bigfoot researchers yesterday about how what if they are transdimensional beings and they come through portals. That's why nobody can get definitive definitions or evidence of them. You just get occasional footprints, or you can't get DNA off of them when you find a little patch of fur of them. Because what if they are kind of like how spirits are? They come through portals. Russell, where have you read where the devil monkeys are at? What state? Only state I've heard is in Arizona around like Cave Creek. Yeah, that's where I've heard they're at, is in Arizona. I've heard the same thing as well. That's where I've read they are. But I mean, yeah, what if these things are transdimensional? And it's starting to more lead to like the paranormal aspect of it. And I mean, like the devil monkey's supposed to have like kangaroo like legs so it can leap distances. And they were first spotted in 1950, which they're known to stand 3 to 8 feet tall, and they've got a baboon face with a canine snout and pointed ears. Now I can see why they tried to say that that thing was a devil monkey, because they described that as having pointed ears and a canine snout. Portals, man alive, that is wild. The Superstition Mountains of the Apache Junction are said to have portals, reptilians, and portals. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, your ghosts come through portals, spirit energy comes through portals, your demonic comes through portals as well. So, like I said, what's saying is these Bigfoots aren't doing the exact same thing. That's why you can never get them. I mean, you hear stories that people shoot them. There was that one video that come out. A guy was hunting and shot one, and buried the body under the leaves and came back. And hey, Greg, welcome in. And he came back there with his buddies when he went back to camp and said, "Hey, I shot a Bigfoot." Come back and Bigfoot's gone. The body of it's gone. The only thing's there is blood. And he reported this. So why didn't they come out and do DNA tests of that blood? So to see what kind of creature it was, and nothing ever came about it. So that's telling me that that story was made up. They may not come through portals. They may exist in dimensions that are closest to us, showing up at on the fabrics of space. Yeah, that's another theory too as well. I agree. And the guys I talked to yesterday, they're talking about bringing the paranormal aspect with the paranormal equipment into the field for their Bigfoot research. Which I said it wouldn't hurt. Like I've got an SLS camera. I mean, that would be good out in the woods for capturing Bigfoot, because that maps figures out as stick figures. So that would be perfect for Bigfoot researching as well. And I mean, we use it to map out spirits and ghosts and stuff in people's houses and locations. So, yes, there was a park ranger who patrolled the area of the Superstition Mountains that had some great stories. That was back in 2013 ish. The video got taken down. His story was amazing. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you look at like the Smoky Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains and how many people go missing out there, there's a lot of them. And it's just crazy on how many people disappear out there, the missing 411, and they never find any signs of them. Now, is it Bigfoot dragging them off, attacking them, dragging them off, or bears? Or, I mean, black bears, I was raised up around black bears growing up in New York State near Pennsylvania, and I mean, we'd had black bears come through all the time. They won't bother you unless you corner the cubs or something like that. Other than that, them black bears smell you, they're gone. So they're not gonna attack you unless you mess with the mother cubs or you catch them when they're coming out of hibernation and they're starving. But and then that's like a episode I did on the feral people. What if even the feral people? Do you think Bigfoot is violent towards humans? I think basically with Bigfoot, what they're trying to do, they don't want you in their territory, so they try to scare you out. That's why they scream, they knock trees over, they throw things at you because they want you gone. I mean, our Bigfoot sighting that we had going in the Allegheny Mountains of Pennsylvania, my dad spotted it, and this was about 1, 2 in the morning, and the National Allegheny National Park is right there, the Shawnee National Park, and this Bigfoot was ducked down raiding a trash can, and the house sat way back up in the mountain, and my headlights hit it, and I have those like LED headlights in my car that shine for miles. I like to use the expression they you can see up a bug's ass for miles with those lights. Um, so as we were going and we got by it, my lights hit it. It stood up and it had the trash can lid in its hand, and it looked at my dad through the window, and it curled its lip at him, like saying, "Hey, you better get going, or I'm going to tear your car up." And my dad described it as it being built. He said the arms on it were about this big. The chest was way out to here, and it stood about 7 to 8 feet tall when it stood up. And I wanted to go back and try to get a picture of it. And I was talking to our Bigfoot guy, and he said, "No, good thing you didn't go back because if it was still there, it would have flipped your car over, tore your car up, or it wouldn't have been there because it'd been spotted." Oh, Russell, hey, have you seen or in your research seen some come out and start debunking David Goodlet's content, like him getting some people wrong or who found what David said they were lost? No, I never dove into that. I'll have to look on it, research some of that, check that out. Yeah, we got that close. I mean, when you're, I don't know if you've been up into the Allegheny Mountains. You know how you got the road, and it's climbing the mountain, and it's got them real sharp turns that you go around, so you can't go that fast around them. And then you get that fog rolling in there, and that's where it was, and it right down the road, I seen the sign that said Shawnee National Park, and so I got looking up sightings in that area, and there is a lot of sightings in that area of Bigfoot roaming through there, and that was our very first ever encounter. I mean, my dad and I both been in the woods. I grew up in the woods, deer hunting and turkey hunting, and we've never experienced anything like that. I mean, you get in the woods, and occasionally the woods will go quiet, and you'll get that eerie feeling like you're being watched when you're in the woods, because all of a sudden the birds, squirrels, all nature just goes quiet. The woods just goes to a standstill. And all of a sudden you just get that feeling, that eerie feeling, like that sixth sense, like something isn't right here. But we've never experienced any screams or any whoops or anything like that, or knocks. I mean, growing up in the Catskill Mountains, we've got our share of urban legends and Bigfoot activity up there as well. I mean, even with the Catskill Witch, growing up in there, I've heard stories on her. And yeah, Russell, I want to say it's been around a couple of years. I was listening to Where Did the Road Go with Sierra, and they mentioned it in a few months back. His guest mentioned it. Yeah, I'll have to check that out because I'm starting to expand my research, not just paranormal. I'm starting to get into the cryptid research as well. Um, I've been talking with Carter about going out with him and researching cryptids down in the Mark Twain National Forest down in South Missouri, which is down in the Ozark Mountains, which is where we get a lot of our sightings out here in Missouri. Um, and I was talking to Monstrous yesterday, who's another cryptid researcher, and he's been down in those mountains down there in the Mark Twain National Forest, and he's got some stories. There'll be some of these guys will be guests on the show, so you guys will want to tune into that. You'll enjoy that. We'll be talking about their Bigfoot researching and stuff like that. The ones that just joined us, we were at the Border Town Paracon yesterday. We went in Friday night. They threw us a party. Great bunch of people. Um, the Border Town Paranormal Society, they were awesome. Um, some of the presentations were pretty good. There was a guy from Kansas. Um, he had recordings from the 1960s of alien talk, chattering, that he played yesterday, and it was pretty interesting. And another guy from he's from St. Louis, Missouri. He was talking about NDEs yesterday. Um, and so it was a pretty good Paracon that we were at yesterday. We did have some protesters out there yesterday doing their thing, protesting the Paracon and stuff like that, thinking we're all spawns of the devil because of what we do. And there was probably about 15 or 20 of them out there, and they didn't last very long. It got too hot for them, and they ended up leaving. But they were yelling at people yesterday, and I don't know why they were doing that. I mean, they should actually go out and read and do some research instead of judging us paranormal investigators and readers as spawns of Satan. If they realize and take a step back and look, us paranormal researchers are not only out researching the paranormal, we're actually helping spirits that are trapped here to cross over, to send them on their way, because they're trapped here. So we're actually pretty much doing God's work as well. Us battling the demonic, we're doing God's work. Oh, it went good, Granzer. There was Enzo. He was a UFO researcher. He guest spoke. Um, they had Red Dirt cryptids. They guest spoke. Um, they were on a panel talking about Bigfoot and stuff. They had several paranormal investigators. One guy from Arkansas. He played some of his EVPs he caught on cases. And then they had several panels talking. One guy was talking about NDEs, the near death experiences, because he's doing a study on them. And so it went pretty good. They threw us a good party with food and everything. They treated us all like we were VIPs, and we got to meet a cousin of ours that we didn't even know we were related to, and he's related to one of my great grandmothers. So that was cool to get to meet them. Took quite a few pictures with people. People were coming out and taking pictures of us with us, and we were educating people. We had some items on the table that we had taken from a case that I had bound to a case. This was used in demonic rituals, and we had them bound to a case, had them on our table, and educating people with them. And we talked to some new investigators that were just starting out, and there was one kid that he came to us and he was talking to us, and he's just starting to get into the paranormal right now. He does spirit box sessions at his house, and he's wanting to get into it, and so he got some pointers from us and several other investigators there, and met another guy who's a big fan of my family, the Warrens, and he actually had a 3 foot tall Annabelle doll out there, the movie doll, and he wrote several books, and him and I are gonna get together and do some things and investigate together. A couple other guys that I talked to, we're gonna get together and do some things as well too. So yeah, he's with MUFON. Yep. And the funny part of it is, yesterday he was doing his presentation, and he was the last presenter of the night. Well, in the rec center, we were I was standing there, and the roof collapsed, and right above some of the tables on the edge, a bunch of water come flying down, and that ended the Paracon right after that. And it was that, to me, that was like a sign that, yep, we're done. Jeez, that's like 1980s. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was a religious group. They were against some of the readers that were there doing readings for people and psychics, and us paranormal investigators. They were yelling at several of the investigators that were coming in the door. I went outside, get something out of my car, but they didn't say nothing to me. They looked at me and they saw me wearing my Ed and Lorraine Warren shirt, but they never said a word. And I know the cops had showed up and told them they were allowed to stand on this one little section of grass, and that's all they could do because you're not allowed to protest off your own property. So it's not allowed in Kansas. So Russ, do you believe in everything? Is there anything that you have determined to be untrue as far as paranormal? Yeah, I debunk a lot of stuff. I mean, old houses. My dad and I both have construction, electrical, and plumbing backgrounds. And old houses, they make noise. And we'll get calls all the time that they'll hear footsteps and it'll be floorboards creaking. Where your old houses, when weather changes, that wood starts swelling, moisture, the house starts shifting, even doors opening and closing. A lot of that can be explained as suctions from other doors, or the door don't latch all the way, or the house shifted that the door is uneven, so the door opens up. Gust of air blows up, open the door. So not everything is paranormal. I mean, lights. There could be lights going on and off, and blinking on and off. A lot of times, could be a short. That's why will do an EMF sweep, check EMF fields in a house, because high EMF causes anything from hallucinations, paranoia, makes you sick, causes a rash, and it'll make people see things that aren't even there, that aren't even paranormal. Schizophrenia disorders, people hear voices all the time. That's part of that schizophrenia disability that they interpret as paranormal. So that's where you have to come in and kind of be like a psychologist when you do residential stuff, because you're dealing with that type of energy. You're dealing with disabled people that are hearing these voices in their head that might be part of their disability as well if they're not taking their medication for it. So we have to check what kind of medications they're on and all kinds of stuff when it comes to that. So a lot of it can be faked. We worked another case where a girl was faking she was possessed just to scare her sisters. And they called us in another to help another team, and this girl was fine when we got there. She gave everybody hugs, and the other sister was playing with tarot cards, had no idea what she was doing with them. She didn't know how to read tarot. Well, the girl all of a sudden just flipped the switch and started growling, started with that looking around with that evil looking glare. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, no, she's faking this. And so I got in front of her and I wear a blessed St. Benedict's medal around my neck when I deal with the darker stuff like that. I held it out in front of her. She didn't even react to it. Now that's a religious item. Your darker demonic stuff is going to react to a religious item. She should have lunged at me and did everything she could at me to rip that off me and hurt me, and she didn't do none of that. Make a long story short, when we decided she was nodding off on the couch, we were like, let's do a cleansing. I put a big blessed St. Benedict's medal about that big around on her shoulder. She started just squirming around, and then the cat gets up there and starts licking her face. Now, cat, your animal can see the darker demonic stuff as their true self, even though if they disguise to us like another human being, they an animal can see them in their true form. So this cat gets up there and licks her face, and I said, "You might as well give it up. We know it's a hoax. You're faking it." So, and she finally come out and she admitted it, that she was faking. So, not everything as what it seems is paranormal. A lot of it can be debunked and explained. And there's some that can't. By us, all the MUFON people seem to not talk about anything newer than like 5 years. Yeah, I've noticed that MUFON's been kind of quiet with a lot of that stuff. What do you think about the mind? Can cryptids manifest only in the mind? Uh, I mean, yeah. I mean, you can take, for instance, even paranormal, for instance, and you can implant. Oh, hey, I seen a ghost in this room, and people look at you and they believe it, and then they take that story and they just run with it and they keep it in their mind, and it weighs on them psychological that they start believing it. Sort of like your haunted objects, your dolls. You project an energy into it, eventually that energy is going to manifest itself and it's going to create that object being haunted. Sort of like Annabelle. Annabelle's a good example of it. It was projected energy of a little girl the first time. And when the nurses got it, they were projecting this energy into it, taking this doll everywhere, putting it at the table, doing stuff with it. Well, eventually the doll started moving, started resting its arms on the table, started writing on parchment paper, leaving notes around the house for them. So they took it and they threw it out in the dumpster. Annabelle showed back up. So, and that's when my family got the Annabelle doll. Then what happens when more than one see it at the same time? But it all depends is if they told them about it too. So if they didn't tell them about it, then you got something legit going on there. But if they told them about it beforehand and then all of a sudden they're starting to see it too, that's that image implanted in the mind. And it's like the I'll use this as an example. I work at a school that's haunted. And one of the teachers were there after 10 o'clock after we were getting ready to leave, and I said to her, I said, "Don't let the ghost get you." Just joking around. And so she was there by herself, and I said, "Oh, he hangs up right up there on the top of the stairs up there." So I talked to her the next day, and I said, "I see the ghost didn't get you," and she goes, "I heard it though, and it was right at the top of the stairs right there." Now see what I just did there? I made a psychological implant in her mind, and she ran with it that same night. So that shows you how you can manipulate someone's mind as well with it. Scripted above. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you say, "Hey, I saw the Momo monster over here," if people are gullible enough to believe it and you didn't actually see it there, then for me, I'm one of those, I don't let it get psychologically implanted in my mind. If they tell me they saw it, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna go check it out for myself and that's because I'm an investigator. That's what I do. I'm gonna go check it out for myself and try to prove it for myself. To see, there was another guy I talked to yesterday, and that's what he does. He's a truth seeker, which is awesome. What he does, I mean, he's got that skeptical mindset that he wants to see it for himself before he believes it. He's not going to interpret it that, oh, this is real because somebody told me. He's going to go out and seek the truth. And that's kind of like how we are too. Russell, will you go live for Halloween Friday or is that too cliche? I will be working on Halloween, unfortunately. So be I won't be live Friday on Halloween. Um I kind of wish that it was on a weekend this year. Um but no, I won't. I'll be working because I'll be taking some time off here, so I've got to make up some days because I was off this past Friday for the Paracon because I had to go to Caney, Kansas, and then I'll be taking off again this Friday to go to Rock Island, Illinois for the Rock Island Roadhouse Esoteric Expo. That's going to be a pretty big Paracon. I was already told there's over 1,100 tickets already sold for that. So yeah, that's gonna be a big one, and there's over 250 of us gonna be there. So, and like we're all downstairs in the basement with Nesper, my family, and the Warrens Occult Museum. So, have you ever been to the Sally House? So, no, I've never been to the Sally House. I've always wanted to go there, and then I hear people tell me not to. That's not what it's cracked up to be. Um, I had a couple buddies from Cold Spotters. Cold Spotters, the Texas team went out there. Um, I know they went to the Sally House, and they didn't. I don't think they walked out with any scratches. I haven't heard. I'll have to get a hold of them and find out what they got out there. If anything, I would rather go instead of the Sally House, go to the McIntyre Villa instead. Yeah, Greg. Halloween's on a Friday this year, and because usually we go out the night before Halloween and we go down to Hans Mill, the Mormon massacre site, which is the anniversary of the massacre. It happened the day before Halloween. We usually go down there and investigate, and but we won't this year, being that I'll be working. So, but for everybody that joined us, because we're gonna get ready to wrap up soon. Come see us next weekend, next Saturday, October 4th, at the Rock Island Roadhouse. We'll be there. We'll be downstairs in the basement with yours truly, Annabelle. The Warren's Occult Museum will be there. So, and again, this is the last you will see of the Warren's Occult Museum on the road. This one, and then they're at Scarefest in Kentucky, and that's last for the Devils on the Run tour. It's over after this year. Um, they're not traveling anymore with the items after this year, so there is good things in the works going on. The Warren's Occult Museum is getting a big commercial building, so all the artifacts will be in a big museum building. So you'll be able to go out there to that museum and see all the artifacts. More rumors to bed that my family still owns all the objects in the museum. They are not sold to Matt Rife and Elton. Elton just bought the house and the property. They're just caretakers for 5 years. And if you do book to go out and investigate Ed and Lorraine Warren's house, please, we ask, as family of the Warrens, please be respectful. That house is a piece of history. Don't go in there acting like asshats and start provoking and start being disrespectful, calling Ed and Lorraine out. Despite if you hate the Warrens, don't do that. Have respect for them. That was their house. And us as family, that's all we ask. If Ed and Lorraine are there, they'll come forward to greet you. Just don't go in calling them out, and because if you start going in provoking and doing this and doing that, you're going to wake up the museum items downstairs. So be respectful. Go in with the good intentions, good mindset, because you will be allowed to investigate the museum under supervision for like 4 hours with Nesper. So, and I mean, just be mindful. I'm only saying that too because I do have items in that museum as well. Um, and those items I've got in there are also dangerous. So please be mindful if you do book to investigate the house. So, which is it's a good step in the Warrens' legacy to keeping it alive. And I mean, I'm grateful that the family. Russell, let me ask, what's your favorite sport? I like football and basketball. I do like a little bit of baseball. I mean, I grew up on the East Coast, so I like the Yankees as baseball. Um, I'm also was a Chicago Bulls fan for many years with Michael Jordan. I grew up around the Michael Jordan era, so Michael Jordan was one of my favorite players. Scottie Pippen. Um, Football, I was a 49ers fan back in the day because I liked Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and Steve Young. I'm also I like the Chiefs as well, and I was a Jets fan too, growing up on the East Coast. So I kind of like baseball, basketball, football. I got into golf a little bit because I used to play golf for a while. Not many people know about me. I used to work on a golf course. I worked on a golf course for 16 years. Started off knowing nothing on a golf course, and I made it up to crew foreman and then irrigation technician, and then got offered an assistant superintendent's job at another golf course, and so that's I worked on the golf course for quite a few years. I enjoyed it, so I got it. I got to play free golf, so I got into playing golf with my buddies and stuff. But I haven't played in years. Um, I moved to Missouri in 2012, so I ended up and I got laid up from a car accident. I was in a bad car wreck that I'm actually surprised I walked away from. I was a passenger. We were coming home, and a buddy of mine fell asleep behind the wheel, and it had snow that night and black ice, and ended up going end over end down the road and rolled 5 times and ended up upside down in the ditch. And I'm lucky to even be alive. The passenger side got the worst of it with me. I messed up my elbow. I've got some neck issues from it. I tore my kneecap off and fractured it, so I've had knee surgery. Yeah, I had a guardian angel that night, and then I had glass in my fingers. And then after that, I moved. When my grandmother passed, I moved to Missouri here. Been here since 2012, and that's when I started a branch of Beyond Life Paranormal Research Missouri here, and been going ever since. We've This year will mark our 20th year running. So with the whole between the New York branch of it and this one, I've been running the group for 20 years already. So, and before I get off, we do have another event we're going to be at December 6th in Sandusky, Ohio. Um, the Holiday Magic and Paranormal and Craft Bazaar. That's going to be another good one. There is a paranormal investigation afterwards, and it will be led by myself and my dad. So come on out there, and I will. My dad and I will both be guest speaking out there as well. And then I know we're booked for some more coming up next year. I know we're booked for one in April and another one in October. So Before I get off, I'm gonna play you my advertisement for us at Rock Island before we end the live here. That's our little promo video for Rock Island next coming weekend. And then we're at the Marshall Cinema Haunted House October 16th and 17th. You guys can come out and see us if you're in the Missouri area. Come by and show your support to the Marshall Cinema. The staff and family, they do a tremendous job putting this haunted house on every year. A lot of work goes into it. Allie, Kim's daughter, and her friend Daniela, they all the decorations and the setup they do. It's tremendous the amount of work they put into it, and it's one of the best haunted houses here in Missouri. Um, they get well over 2,500 people come through the door the first night. The second night, usually another almost 2,000 people come in. Um, They asked me to come back again this year and play a character. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you which one. You'll find out afterwards. But it's gonna be a good one, and we're looking forward to it. And then we're doing a mini investigation afterwards of the haunted movie theater. And this is an actual haunted movie theater, um, so it's gonna be a good time. And then we get a break until December for a little bit. The book's coming along good with all my busy schedule. I'm almost done with it. I was hoping to have it out by Rock Island, but with all the stuff we've got going on and trying to get time to sit down and actually write, it it's been tough. But it's coming along good. The movie's coming along good. Um, and I've got some other appearances coming up. I'm waiting to hear some stuff on it. I got another guy that asked me to be on a show. I've got a couple more interviews that I'm going to be doing. Um, so hopefully I'll have stuff posted here as soon as I find out details. Yeah, Greg, I'll video call you right after I get off here. Um, so with that being said, we're gonna hop on off here for the night. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. There will not be a podcast next Saturday because I will be at Rock Island. And we're coming home on Sunday, so I may jump on Sunday night. Depends on how tired I am. We got about a 4 hour and 53-minute drive back to Missouri from Illinois, so I may come on and talk to you guys, let you know how Rock Island went. Like I said, that should be a good one with all the workshops. They're doing a paranormal investigation afterwards, which is sold out. They've got a lot of stuff going on, and this is your general admission price to get in. So you can also pre-buy tickets to get in as well at extremeticketing.com. So um, come see us down in the basement. That's where we're at. Us, Ken 10 Paranormal, which are friends of ours, Empty Casket Paranormal, another good friend of ours, Nesper, and the Warrens Occult Museum, I believe, is down in the basement as well. And the basement is the most haunted spot of Rock Island Roadhouse. So that ought to be interesting. So So we hope to see you all there again. Have a good night. God bless. Remember, if you're being bullied in the paranormal field, you have a voice. Don't be afraid to speak out. Reach out to any of us. We'll listen to you. No judgment here. Um, Nobody's better than anybody in this field. We're all after the same common goal. The drama and the egos need to stop in this field because that's all it's getting to be now. We're all starting to get divided. No, there's no more paranormal unity anymore. So that being said, everybody have a good night. God bless. Stay safe out there. And we may see you next Sunday, and we'll see you all at Rock Island Paracon. Have a good night, everyone. God bless.